Okay, Ryan, this is for the Games Advertiser project, Unit 1 pre-production and Unit 5 working to a brief. This is for the Unit 5 P1, M1, D1 criteria. So we're going to talk about understanding how to work to a brief and the requirements of a brief. I'm going to go through and ask you questions. I want you to tell me your response in relation to these bullet points, okay? So the first bullet point asks you to demonstrate that you recognise the nature and the demand in the brief and discussing the codes and conventions of games adverts. So tell me, from the brief itself, what do you understand the brief is?
We've been asked by a local production company to create a trailer, demo, logo, teaser clip for a game that we will be making.
Okay. Okay, so what's the name of your production company?
Oxymoron Dirtfish.
Oxymoron Dirtfish. And have you got a name for your game yet?
Afterwall. I came up with that.
Okay, good. So in terms of games advertisements, what are the codes and the conventions of games adverts? What do people expect with games advertisements?
They expect them to be strong, powerful, make a lasting impression. So you wouldn't just watch a clip and forget about it 2 seconds later. They want to keep it in your mind, so you'll go on the internet, maybe look it up or something like that.
Okay. So what's conventional in terms of games advertisements in the last year or so? How are they normally advertised?
Generally, either quite loud, like they'll have bang sound or sounds of guns or something like that.
In terms of how they advertise, what sort of media do they normally advertise through?
They advertise generally through magazines or television.
Okay. Anywhere else?
A lot more recently through the internet is a common one now.
Can you give examples of that?
I think this game I've recently played, Tried to Send, it was only, you could only get through it through advertisements on the side of few internet, like internet sites. It'd have a little link to it. You clicked on it, it'd allow you to create an account.
Okay. Negotiating the brief. So what have you taken from consultation with me? What advice or elements have you learnt from working with me in the last 15 weeks? Have you learned any techniques at all? What have you taken from my advice, if anything?
We've learned a bit more about creating the thing, the project. We've been a bit more organised than we would have been if we hadn't have asked a bit.
Okay.
So
how have you organised yourself?
We've organised ourselves by actually choosing who's part of what. So I'll be taking care of the location and some of the filming with Mark with the Q.
Okay.
We'll also be preparing all the costs and all. I made sure how much it would cost to get down to where I am beforehand.
Right. Okay. That's okay. So how have you and your group Oxymoron Dirtfish, how have you interpreted the brief? So the brief, as you mentioned, is to make a viral campaign. That could be anything. So how has your group interpreted that? What are you going to make?
We will be making a short trailer for our project. We'll be basing it in the forest. It'll be set in just before our game. It'll be based around a little skirmish going inside the forest. We'll also be creating some concept art for it, and Kane's suggested he might be able to make some music for it.
Nice one. That's good. That's good. So we've got, is it teaser clip or trailer?
It's a trailer.
A trailer? Some concept art.
We also had an idea of putting, I had this idea of making a Facebook link to it, like a group. Then Preston evolved on that and said we should maybe put a bit of the clip each month on the same day.
Good.
For 3 months.
That's
and
nice.
Then after on the 4th month, we'd put the entire thing.
Very nice. That's a great idea. I really like that. So you're embracing social media. That's a new sort of modern approach. I really like that. That's good. So that's the way you've interpreted the brief. So you've got concept art, which could be posters potentially as well. Yeah. A trailer, using Facebook. Good. Sounds good. What constraints have you encountered? What sort of things that could hold you back have you encountered?
Originally it was the location. It's behind my house, which is on an army base. But initially that seemed like it was going to be a problem, but I asked around, I asked my dad if there's anyone who needed to be asked about that, and he said there was no one to ask about it since it isn't properly regulated or anything like that.
Okay, so is it public property then? This
I
space?
guess that, yes.
We need to find out for sure. That's legal issues. We need to find out, so we can maybe look on Google Earth and maybe find out what council owns that area, and I could call them for you, or you could call to get marks for
I
yourself.
don't think. I have asked, and my dad has said that it's not.
Okay, someone other than your dad though. If we get someone official, I'm sure your dad's absolutely right. We need someone official to let us know.
The problem is he's no longer on the base. We can't exactly ask anyone in the army because we're not allowed access inside the main base now.
But is it woods? Is it?
It's just like this little strip of forest behind the house. It's barely noticeable.
Okay, fair enough. Any ethical issues at all?
I don't feel there is, no.
No? Okay. In terms of regulatory issues, so PEGI, for example, PEGI rating. So what sort of PEGI rating would your game fall under, and why?
We'd be giving it a minimum of 15 because it would be a gun game. So it'd have a
How do you
bit.
mean gun game?
I should have said more of like an FPS sort of RPG. So shoot 'em games generally have people being killed and all that, which is generally some gore and violence, but not too much.
Okay. So in terms of ethical amounts of violence you can show, what's suitable?
It would just be the bullets hitting the person, they'd maybe fall down. It wouldn't be extreme like games like Dead Space where you shoot them and you have to blow off their limbs to kill them.
So it's not going to be like gratuitous violence.
It's not going to be proper blood and violence. It'll be just your generic things you see in Call of Duty.
Fair enough. Good. The last section is opportunities. Identify for me any opportunities that you've got for self-development, new skills.
I feel that throughout this project I could probably learn more about camera skills. I feel that's one of the things I've sort of faltered on. Like last year I was doing more of the acting side of things than actually filming. Other things I may learn about is sound equipment and lighting.
Good.
I've been quite good at lighting, but I have to learn how to use some lighting in the area outside instead of inside, which is a new opportunity.
Okay. Good. Can I suggest one as well? Can I suggest a new skill? Avoiding procrastination. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Good. You can get top grades, Ryan, if you only stop procrastinating, my friend. Okay. Right. That concludes the understand the requirements of working to a brief. Ryan, thank you very much.